I've got a good memory, but it's too short.
Yeah, I hear ya.
So, so the primary purpose of meeting today was just to get any last questions answered you may have. I also got a couple of sort of bad news announcements, so I'll cover a little later. Um, and also introduce Anna. Do you pronounce your name Anna or Anna?
Anna.
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 Okay, I thought so. Okay. So anyway, this is our intrepid travel group, parts of the two groups. There's some people who couldn't make it today, and so that's why I wanted to record it so I can make it into a YouTube video and post it and send it to them. So, with that, anybody else have any good news before we officially start?
The health department is at our Rotary Serves Food Pantry, and we just passed inspection, so our annual.
All right.
That's a good thing. I have 40 people, 40 family members for dinner from all over the world here tonight.
All right.
As far away as like Israel, for the Jewish holiday. So it's kind of exciting to have so many people together.
That's wonderful.
Cool.
And Colette wasn't sure if she could join us, by the way, because for her it is 5 o'clock in the morning. So I have a couple questions on her behalf.
Okay. Let's see what time is it now? We've got a couple minutes after, so. Okay, well, why don't we get started with your questions and we'll go from there. And you want to start, Elena?
Oh, I'm sure she just had a question about the ferry from Estonia to Helsinki, and she wanted to know if that's something that we book on our own, or if you were going to give us some more information about it and how we get from like our hotel to that ferry. That she had questions about that.
Okay. To get to first of all, to get to the ferry, we'll probably need to taxi it. It's possible to walk, but most people will probably want to taxi it. And you don't need to make any advance reservations. But I've not included the ferry ride from Tallinn to Helsinki in the price, so that will be on your own. I will be leaving that morning as well, so a group of us can get together on a taxi and share the cost, and so it should not be any big deal. Shouldn't be too difficult. You had any further questions?
Sorry, her other question was about the like service project or the meeting with the other Rotary Club. If you could talk a little about what that was going to be and where and that
Okay.
kind of thing.
Let me come back to that question. Anybody else have any questions they need to have answered?
Yes, I do have a question. Is there anything we need other than our passport to move between countries? Do we need any other notice, visas, anything in any of the countries?
No, first of all, that ETIAS or whatever that is that was threatened has been postponed to the end of 26. And between countries, in most cases, we won't need it at all because of the Schengen Agreement. But there may be some where you'll need your passport is at each of the hotels. So, but we should not need anything going from country to country.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
I have a question about currency. I think somewhere along the line you had suggested to bring some euros.
Well, you might want to go to the bank and get some euros, or we could just or you can get them out of the ATM machines. In the airport, there are money changing stations. I recommend you not use those. You get a better exchange rate at the ATM machines. However, the dollar has devalued, and so our dollar does not buy as much. This uncertainty about tariffs has cost us at least 1,000 or more on our trip costs.
Mm.
So it's a good thing we had a cushion. That's not good news. But anyway, there are 3 countries that do not use euro. So you may need some euro, but in most cases, most things you'll be able to use your credit card. So make sure your credit card company knows you're going to be traveling overseas, so you don't get blocked. But most things you'll be using credit card, but it'll be good to have some euros. I'm going to get a batch of euros, and if someone needs to get small change, I'll be keeping a record of loans to different people, and by the end of the trip we can settle up. So if you don't wish to go to an ATM, I can be your banker. If you know, and that's what I intend to do as well for the 3 countries where we will need our own. We go in Czech Republic, Poland, and Hungary are ones that do not use the euro. So I'll be getting some of those at an ATM machine. And again, for small change and whatnot, if we need, I can serve as your banker. So, but you might want to have your own. So had another question come up?
Rick, this is Paula.
Can you hear me?
Go for it, Paula. I'll start with you.
Can you hear Mary Jane?
Yes.
Who wants to go first?
My
Can
question
you hear
is,
Mary Jane?
Paula, why don't you go first?
just a simple question of when we get into Budapest, those of us that on the second part of the trip, are we to be met at the airport?
No, I've not made that plan. The best way to get from the Budapest airport, and by the way, it is pronounced Budapest, not Budapest. Anyway, the best way to get to the hotel is to taxi it. I have taken trains and walked, but it's not that easy. The best is just get out of the airport, take a taxi, and get there. And okay, Mary Jane.
Oh, I was just going to talk about the money. I got euros, and I don't like using ATMs because they charge $5 to your credit card, and I don't like using my credit card if I can avoid it because they charge 3%. So I'm cheap. For those of you that are cheap, and it was free to get the euros from my bank, and they even mailed them straight to me for free.
Yeah, well, I have a card that does not charge international service fees, so that's helped.
But the vendor usually does. The restaurant, they charge.
Huh? I've not run into that, but
Yeah, every time.
Hmm.
And it's 3%, but it might be going up.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Rick, this is Kelly. I may have missed this. I'm sorry, but do you have the hotel information for everybody, but the first night, so I know where to go from the airport in Helsinki to the hotel?
Yeah, it's Hotel Arthur, but if you go on the website and you click on itinerary, there's every hotel
Awesome.
that we will be staying at. So if you have someone left behind that wants to know where you are or how to get hold of you, they could go through the hotel that's listed on the itinerary.
Yeah, I thought I saw it, but then I thought maybe I was dreaming. So thank you.
No. Okay, there may be other questions that come up, but let me cover a couple of news that one relates to the hands-on project. I have had unbelievable difficulty communicating with the Klaipėda Rotary clubs. And I don't know, it's the same experience I had with the ones in Uganda. But anyway, right now, for going south, I believe, that we do have a women's club that we will be able to join them for their meeting. It will not be the casual dinner at the Acropolis Mall, which I was hoping for a more casual situation where we could have more conversation than you have at a formal meeting. But their proposed hands-on project was actually, like 100 miles away. So, well, that's not going to work, the hands-on project. So I talked to Mike DeLuca about what if we can't come up with a hands-on project, and he says if that doesn't work, then the $750 that we've got allocated for that, we'll just put into the Global Travelers Foundation, and then we'll use that on some other international project that the club chooses. The second one is the men's club that I've been in communication with and visited, and we've done in past years. I believe something may still come together with that, but I'm uncertain. So bottom line is I will keep trying, and if it doesn't work, then the money will go into the foundation. It's been pretty frustrating. However, not as frustrating as working with Auschwitz. First of all, you can't reserve tickets until like 90 days ahead of the time. So I waited and I went in and made my application for the tickets. You can't just buy them. You have to make an application so that they can see whether they have an opening for the guide. Anyway, I waited, and the 4 or 5 days they said it takes, I didn't receive any notice. I didn't receive anything. And then I went to Brazil. Anyway, when I got back, I said, any response? Crickets. I said again, any response? Nothing. I found another email address for reservations. Okay, so then I asked again, and they said they sent me an email with the tickets along with the link to make payment. Well, they may have said they sent it. They even said the dates they sent it, but it sure does not show up in my inbox, my spam, or trash. So they said you have. So I said, now what? And they said, well, you have to go reserve again. Okay, so I went in and applied again. And now they got the response saying that all the for that specific time, there are no longer any spots open. So what we will need to do, and hopefully successfully, because this worked in 2019, we showed up because you can go through Auschwitz individually without reservations. And so we're going to have a group of 15, 16 individuals.
That'll work.
And hope it works. We will not have a guide because only groups must have a guide. So we will be a group of individuals. And this worked in 2019, so I'm hoping it works again. I may be disappointed. So I'm really bummed out about this. I'm really frustrated when I get no response. But so that's
Maybe.
what we'll do. And
Rick?
Yes.
I was going to say, since we'll be our own guide, maybe it would behoove all of us to do our own research on Auschwitz, just so that we can all Google, we can all pull up some information, and we can share that with each other on the trip. But at least then we would individually have some idea rather than just looking at buildings. I mean, we can self-guide.
A good idea. In fact, I intend to put together a presentation just in case that happens.
Good plan.
So that we don't totally miss out. We will go there and we'll be able to see the exterior and be able to see the second larger part that's mostly demolished now. But I'm hoping we can get in the building and so forth, but irritating. Yes.
Rick, this is Paula. I'm looking right now, and I'm not getting any details, but I've done different tours when I was in Greece, the Acropolis. They're free audios, like Rick Steves had a free audio guide. And I'm just looking, we'll do a little bit of homework, and there might be some things that we can download on our phones, which is your own private tour. And so, like I said, we did it on the Acropolis, so we didn't have to use their system. It was just a download.
Perhaps I'll do some research as well. But if you see something, why don't you send it to me so I can share?
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
What looked like poop.
Sometimes the best laid plans go awry.
Well, and that's what makes it an adventure, Rick, right?
Yeah.
You know, we'll let things unfold as they do.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I found through travel. You find out the true personality of people on travel, because people can have this nice facade publicly, but when stuff happens, how do we react to them? If you're not talking, please mute yourself.
Mary Jane, you're not on
can you
mute.
mute yourself?
Yeah.
Am I muted?
No.
No.
So if you're not talking, please mute yourself. Okay. With that, is there any
What
other
am I supposed
questions?
to say?
Any
Hello,
other,
I'm here.
any other questions that you may have? If not, I'd like to introduce Anna, who will be our assistant tour guide. She is now a junior at LCC International University that we will be visiting. But Anna, you want to have anything to say to us? Introduce
Yeah,
yourself.
of course. First of all, hello everyone. It's really nice to see all of you, and I'm very excited of our trip. So I'm Anna. I'm from Ukraine. I am 19 years old, and yes, it's my third year at LCC. So I'm studying business, and I was working as an English tutor for Ukrainian kids and adults. And last year I have been in USA, working as a hostess and waitress on work and travel program.
So
yes, it's
have you
pretty
been
much.
to the United States in a work travel program?
Yeah. Last summer I have been there in New Jersey, Jersey City.
Okay. So where in Ukraine are you from?
I'm from west of Ukraine. From maybe someone of you can know, it's Lviv, bigger place, but I'm from Drohobych. It's smaller. So
Is it in or near an area that the Russians have invaded?
thanks God it's not, but still, everywhere in Ukraine it's not safe. So
Right. So how many Ukrainian students are there at LCC right now?
actually, it's a lot of them. Sometimes I even feel like at home because usually it's the same amount as Lithuanians here. After the war started, a lot of Ukrainians came here because they needed to.
Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Go, Barb.
Yes, Anna, nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to seeing you and meeting you in person. So your resume said you are studying business administration. Do you have a special interest in business? Is it marketing or finance, or what are your hopes after graduation?
Yeah, actually, it was a great guess because I'm really into marketing, and this is the most interesting topic for me right now. I'm looking for something more about SMM, maybe social media marketing, and also I'm interested in organizational behavior. It was also an incredible subject.
Oh, very good. We'll have to talk on our trip because that's some of my background. So it'd be interesting to hear your experience as well. So
Great, thank you so much. I'm excited about it.
good.
Okay, one thing I have asked her to be sure to be mixing and mingling with each of you and talking, because that's part of the fun for you guys, as well as the opportunity for her to learn and really see, what an amazing group of people we have in Global Travelers. You know, a lot of you folks, and some of you have met on trips that, you know, you're kind of like, oh, shucks, folks, you're not big deal, but you start digging into your guys' backgrounds, and there are a lot of very impressive, successful people in this club. So I think Anna, you'll have fun getting to meet some of these folks. So, any other
Yeah.
questions for Anna now? Or anything else you'd like to tell us?
Lynn had a question, it looked like.
Oh, okay.
I saw a hand go up.
Then
Maybe not.
Sorry.
Oh,
Did you have a question?
Hey, Rick, this is Sam. For some reason, I lost your video. I'm trying to find you. But just a quick question. I don't have you on my video, but on for the week 1 people, if we spend the extra night, that's the night of the 20th, and then on the 21st, what time is everything done in terms of the itinerary is concerned?
okay. For the first group, the quote official trip really will end on the 20th.
Okay.
So there's nothing planned. However, the second group will have arrived, and they may be doing some things that you could join in on.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know, we'll be all staying at the hotel, so we'll be talking, you know, what's going on, who's doing what. The second group will be doing a tour on the 21st, but we'll already have done a tour. I've got a tour guide lined up for Budapest for both groups. I do have a tour guide lined up for the first group in Riga, but not the second group. By that time, I'll have remembered where I need to go. So we won't necessarily need one for the second group, but it's nice to have local people, but have not been able to get one for the second group in Riga. The other cities, we'll find our way around. But for Klaipėda, for example, both Anna and I know the city. In Tallinn, you know, I know that city pretty well. In Vienna, I anticipate many of us will take the hop on, hop off, and so don't really need a guide in Vienna, so forth. So we'll make do with those.
So on the 21st in Budapest, we're going to have a kind of a all-day tour type thing that's being organized, or we are on our own?
For the 21st, the tour guide for group 2 will be taking the group.
What about group 1?
And for anybody with group 1, you can just join in on that if you wish, but it will be a repeat of what we will be having had on the 20th.
I see. So there is nothing for group 1 on
nothing
21st.
really planned. An activity that is good in Budapest is the hop on, hop off. And another thing that's good is the night of the 20th, we'll be having some kind of dinner together. I haven't planned exactly where that's going to be or anything, but you know, there's also evening tours and whatnot that you can take advantage of if you wish. But it's more or less a free day. I expect those who will stay over will be kind of between themselves figuring out what they want to do. You know, they'll have had an introduction to Budapest on the 20th. And so then from there, they can kind of figure out if they want to do more or exactly what they want to do.
Hey, Rick, can you expand a little? I wasn't really aware that you were planning something for the 21st. So, I mean, I'm arriving early and I have a whole bunch of things planned myself for the 17th, 18th, 19th, and part of the 20th. So I don't want to do something that you already have planned. Can you expand a little on, for the second group, what you have planned for the 21st?
On the 21st is simply a 2.5 hour walk in the city with a local guide.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'll learn something from mine earlier on that I can share with the group.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So-
and you're saying also that you think there's going to be a combined dinner on the 20th?
We'll probably want to do something together. I don't have, there's nothing planned. Let's put it that way. Because some people will be coming, some people will be going. But doing something together would probably be what most people will want to do.
Okay. And
How formal that may be, probably just something casual somewhere. The difficulty is getting reservations someplace with that number. It may be that the best thing we can do is have dinner right at the hotel.
Okay, and do you know approximately how long the ride is from the airport to the hotel? Is it around a half an hour?
Somewhere around there.
Okay.
Some 30 minutes, 40 minutes, somewhere in that range. I forget.
Okay.
I looked it up one time, but I've never done it myself. The time I arrived in Budapest, I took the train and walked, and because I was wanting to explore as I was going. So.
Rick, where's the easiest place that we could re-access the itinerary? I know it's in that link, but I joined late, and so I'm not sure I've even seen that whole itinerary. Where is that?
Okay, freedomquesttours.org.
Freedom Quest?
Yeah, freedomquest tours.org.
Okay.
And it's on the very left-hand side in the top side itinerary.
Got it. Thank
Or
you.
just posted that on our chat.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Okay.
Yep. Oh yeah. All right, I had to put it in there. Okay, and I did to the main site, and the itinerary is near the top on the left. So.
Rick, are you putting together kind of a WhatsApp group link?
Yes, I will be doing that. I've got everybody's phone numbers, and I will be putting a WhatsApp group together. I will be putting 2 groups together, group 1 and group 2.
Okay.
I just a couple people had questions about the taxi from the airport in Budapest.
Yeah.
I did that last November because I went on the Danube River cruise.
Okay.
My hotel was right downtown, so it was right down by the river, so a little further away from the airport than our hotel for this trip. But it was, I just looked, it was 45 minutes by taxi, and it was 14,000 HUF, or I'm not sure the pronunciation, but the local currency. So that's what the cost was, and it took 45 minutes. And it largely, I think, took 45 minutes because it wasn't a freeway. It was through city streets, so you had stop and go traffic along the way. But it worked very smoothly. The hotel called the taxi, and it was pretty easy.
The 14,000 HUF is just under $39. But Aaron's question, how much is that?
Somebody just asked about Uber. I don't think there's Uber in Budapest because I use Uber almost everywhere I travel, and I would have used it if it was available.
And is that price irregardless of how many people are in the vehicle? Do you know?
Usually
I don't. It was just me, so I think it was the price to get to the airport.
Barb, do you pay by local currency only, or do they take a card on the cab?
I didn't have local currency, so it must have been a card.
Okay.
Because I didn't have any local currency.
Yeah, you might need a duffel bag if you want to use local currency. When you think 14,000 HUF is $39.
Yeah.
How many of these countries take euros, or do they?
All except Hungary, Poland, and Czech Republic.
So Hungary does not take euros, okay.
Any other questions? If so, we're probably gonna run out of time, so I only have the cheap version. Probably got about 10 minutes left on the cheap version. So, any other questions, comments?
Rick? Just question on those 3 countries. Will they take American dollars?
Usually not.
Not now.
Not now.
I realize that.
Who wants to deal with US, you know, anyway, that is a question. It was a question. How welcome will we be in Europe?
Oh, no problem.
Well, we're from Canada, so I think we will
Okay,
be
they'll
welcome.
love you. They'll love you.
We're going to be taking our flag with us.
I don't expect difficulties at all, but obviously we have a number of countries right now that are not very happy with the United States, or at least they're not very happy with what's happening here in the United States. But if we are courteous and pleasant, I'm sure we'll be just fine. So we've not become the most popular country in the world.
Rick, I have another question. I guess it's been pondering since I'm a woman and I have to pack. I'm been worried about the size of the suitcase. You know, if I'm going to bring not a carry-on, the size of a carry-on, which I'm planning on doing, is everybody going to go along that line to stay? Because we have limited space in the van.
What I am recommending is you do not take big luggage.
Right.
Be frugal in what you're taking, because we will need, you know, with a number of us, we will grossly exceed the outside luggage space. So we'll be using that back seat. Linda Hansen, who was planning to join us on the second trip, excuse me, and take that last spot on the back seat, she may not be able to be coming because her husband has had some illness, and so she's an if right now. So we'll have to see. But nonetheless, talking about luggage, pack light.
Well, and I think Rick, didn't you say that at some of the hotels or at some point along the way there's a laundry facility in a hotel?
Particularly when we stop in Vienna and Warsaw.
Yeah.
When you have the extra day, that would be an ideal time to have something washed if you need. So you know, along the route. So anyway, I'm excited. I really enjoy these countries. Being back in the Baltics will feel like going home. A lot like the Upper Peninsula of Michigan when I grew up in the old towns anyway. So we'll spend most of our time in the old towns of these countries, and which in a way you won't see necessarily all maybe the most prosperous parts of some of these countries. So we got to keep that in mind. Once you get outside of Old Town Klaipėda, there's actually quite a bit going on, which when I was there teaching, I wasn't aware of because I didn't have a car, and so I just walked. So I didn't walk very far. But anything else?
What about?
I just want to
ask-
say I'm looking forward to meeting Anna and having a conversation and getting to know you better. So thank you for being willing to join us on our trip.
Oh, thank
Miriam, you want to say something?
This is Miriam. I'm curious, do you recommend that we get trip insurance?
In most cases, it's probably too late to do that. Usually you need to get it within a certain number of days of booking something.
Okay.
You might check, but I travel often enough, and most of you do too, that travel insurance in most cases, it doesn't pay off.
Okay.
Because by the time you pay the travel insurance for multiple trips, then usually more than covers what any insurance recovery you'd have gotten.
Okay.
Except my $28 I paid for evacuation insurance for Mount Everest, and so I got helicoptered off from 16,000 feet, which would have cost me about a total of about 5,500. So $28 was goodbye that time.
Yeah.
On the other flip side of that coin, I'm a big believer in travel insurance, and I buy an annual policy. So you could probably still get yourself an annual policy, and it will cover you. And you know, you have various levels. It doesn't. I mean, I think one of them was like $300 for the year, and it covers all of my trips, including back and forth to Florida and Minnesota. It's not just all your international trips, and that's Allianz. So I would at least suggest you look at it.
What company do you use, Paula?
Allianz, Allianz.
So
And you might
consider
also
that.
check your credit card too. 'cause
Yeah, and you
credit
get
cards.
some exactly. But I think it's important to have. That's
I
me.
agree with Paula. That's a good company, and we have that too. Yeah.
Well, I'm a risk taker, I guess.
Check with
Anything
your
else?
medical insurance company. Mine reimburses me.
Say again?
My Medicare Advantage plan will not pay for ambulance service from Europe back to the US, but everything else they said they covered.
Right, right. And it has to be an emergency. You can't go over there to get your Botox or your
Yeah,
cosmetic
right.
surgery and expect.
Right.
Oh, I was going to plan to have my tummy tucked. Yeah.
Think about that. And
We're cutting out.
so my advice for light packing is fill your suitcase with everything you want and then take out half of it. And you should be good. How's that?